Okay, for 13 it says write in simpler form. So basically simplifying, right? So 5 to a power divided by 5 to another power, we subtract the powers, right? So this is really 5 to the 723 minus 721. So this becomes 5 to the second power, which is 25. And again, never go across the page like I am. I'm just doing it because the way the problems are laid out in the textbook. So for B, again, we have 3 to the 300th minus 249. Now, if you didn't remember your power rules, like your exponent rules, that when you divide with the same base you subtract, you'd actually have to take 3 to the 300th power and divide it by 3, which would be really cumbersome. Okay, so this becomes 3 to the 51 power. Now, it doesn't say in the instructions you can leave an exponential form, but, I mean, you kind of have to use logic for this problem and assume that they're okay for this one, leaving it in exponential form. Now, on a test, I would never give you one that has such a high power that I didn't say you could leave an exponential form. So this is just a badly worded instructions. So for this one, I'm going to leave it as this because clearly I don't want to multiply 3 times itself 51 times. Okay, C is kind of a trick question because you remember that a to the 0 equals 1, regardless of what a is, right? That's a property we learned. So in this case, we're raising this to the 0 power, so we get 1, right? Anything raised to the 0 power is 1. Okay, and then this next one is 4 times 10 to the third. So let's rewrite this as 4 times 10 to the third divided by 1 times 10 to the negative 2 squared. So now let's simplify what's inside the parentheses. 4 divided by 1 is 4. 10 to the third divided by 10 to the negative 2, that's 3 minus negative 2. 3 minus negative 2 is 3 plus 2, so that's 10 to the 5th. And now we square it, right? And when we square it, we square the 4, right? Because these are being multiplied, so it's 4 squared is 16. 10 to the 5th squared is 10 to the 10th. Now, again, this gets back to a poorly worded question. I am assuming that for D, they wanted you to leave your answer in scientific notation, I'm guessing, even though it's hard to say that. Again, I would be much more explicit on a test, but based on the instructions they gave here, you would actually have to write 16 followed by all those zeros, right? Because it doesn't say you could leave it in scientific notation. I would probably say for problem D, I'd give instructions, simplify, and leave answer in scientific notation. So what we can see here, though, is that this is not scientific notation, right? Because the 16 has to be between 1 and 10, right? So this becomes 1.6 times 10 to the 11th in scientific notation.